Hey everybody, it's Sunday, which means it's time to look at our games of the week, where I pick out the best games from the upcoming week in the NHL, Sunday through next Saturday, and choose which ones I think will be the best, most fun, and exciting matchups this week. So, before we get into it, I just ask that you please hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, it helps the channel an absolute ton and is greatly appreciated. But let's get started here. A lot of great action in the NHL this week. Starting today on Sunday, we have some awesome matchups as the Tampa Bay Lightning play the Chicago Blackhawks for the third game in a row, and those two teams have been playing incredibly close overtime games against each other. They've split. Tampa 1-1, Chicago 1-1, and this is kind of that third rubber match coming up this afternoon, which I will be streaming for at 2:30. Gonna be an absolutely awesome matchup. Then we have Florida and Carolina this evening at 5 p.m. And I mean, you're talking about two teams fighting for position in the playoffs in the Central Division. Potentially could be a first-round playoff matchup between Florida and Carolina. That would be one hell of a series. And it's just an awesome matchup here coming up this evening. Also, we have the Washington Capitals against the Philadelphia Flyers, a huge East Division matchup between teams fighting for playoff position right now, and that one is going to be a lot of fun, and there's a big natural rivalry between those teams as well, so it's going to be really fun to watch, and hopefully there's some physicality in that one, to say the least. Then also tonight, we have the New York Rangers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins in a huge matchup between the 5th and 6th place teams in the East right now. Pittsburgh trying to work their way back into a playoff position. New York also trying to do the same. They would have to pass Pittsburgh in the standings if they were going to do that. Rangers have been playing a lot better as of late, so that's going to be a really interesting one with a huge 2 points on the line. Moving on to Monday night, the 8th. Only one real big matchup that night. It's Vegas versus Minnesota. The Wild have been a lot better than I thought they were going to be this year. They are trying to secure playoff positioning and make a run in that West Division. Vegas is at the top of the West Division, leading the way out there. They've been the best team so far. And this is a huge matchup for the Wild and kind of one of those measuring stick games for the Minnesota Wild where, they're trying to show that they can hang with the best of the best. Tuesday night, the Rangers and Penguins play again. So everything that I said about that first matchup applies to the second one. Huge game there between those two. The Bruins and the Islanders play on Tuesday night, and that is going to be quite the matchup. The Bruins have not beaten the Islanders yet this season, so huge 2 points on the line there. Bruins trying to get off the schneid when it comes to the Isles, and the Islanders trying to maintain their dominance over the Bruins this year and continue to climb higher in the East. Also that night, we have the Winnipeg Jets against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Both of these teams have been playing really well recently. And also, they've played really well overall this season, where they're fighting for the top of the North Division. Obviously, Toronto is pretty handily up top in the North, but then when you look at teams fighting for second place, I mean, Edmonton and Winnipeg are the two teams right there, with Montreal trying to climb back into things. So, a huge matchup. Winnipeg, again, trying to compete with the best in their division, and they're going to want a good showing against the Leafs, and the Leafs are going to want to keep winning to make sure that they maintain that top spot. Wednesday, we have one game again, and it's once again Vegas and Minnesota, and I will actually be streaming that game on Wednesday between the Golden Knights and the Wild. That's going to be another huge one. Like I said, measuring stick contest for the Minnesota Wild. Can't wait to see how they match up. Thursday, the 11th, we have the Rangers and the Bruins. So the Rangers with a tough week this week. They play a couple against the Penguins, and then they have to go and play a couple against the Boston Bruins. And Bruins have done fairly well, winning 3 out of 4 games against the Rangers so far this season. But the thing that really makes this a game of the week is the physicality between these two teams. They do not like each other at all. There's a lot of physicality. There's a lot of animosity between these two. And it's going to be a fun one on Thursday night. We also have the Capitals and the Flyers playing again. They play today on Sunday. Then they have a little bit of a time off between where they go out and play some other opponents. And then they come back and they play each other again on Thursday and Saturday, which we'll get to Saturday's game. But for Thursday, everything that applies to today's game applies to Thursday's. I mean, that's just a huge rivalry matchup in the East Division between two teams fighting in the standings very, very close to each other. So huge 2 points on the line as well. Winnipeg and Toronto play again on Thursday. So again, everything that I said about that first matchup applies to the second. Really a big one there for the Jets to try and compete with the best in that division. On Friday, the 12th, we've got a couple more. We have Vegas against St. Louis, two of the top teams in the West Division. They're going to be fighting all season long for playoff positioning and seeding. And Vegas is the number 1 team in that division right now. So St. Louis would love to pick up a big win against a team higher than them in the standings. And for Vegas, they're going to look to just maintain that control and dominance in that division and stay in first place. Also that night, we have the LA Kings against the Colorado Avalanche. That's a big one. Colorado hasn't been as dominant as I thought they were going to be this season, but they're still playing, fairly well and holding on to playoff positioning. LA is trying to fight to get into the playoffs. They're currently just on the outside looking in. So the Kings are really, really looking to try and pull into that 4th spot. So a huge win against a team ahead of them would be massive for the Kings. So huge West matchup there. Huge couple of West matchups that night on Friday. And then that brings us to Saturday night, which there are a ton of great matchups in the NHL on Saturday. So starting with the Rangers and the Bruins playing again, everything about the first matchup applies to the second one. That's a Saturday afternoon game. I should be streaming for that one at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Going to be a lot of fun with that matinee in Boston. The Capitals and Flyers play again. So, again, everything that I said about the first couple of matchups still applies. Awesome rivalry game there. The Jets and the Leafs play again on Saturday. So, again, huge series for Winnipeg to try and move up in the standings. And Toronto, big series for them to make sure that they stay in first. Chicago and Florida play. Two of the biggest surprises in the NHL, at least for me this season, are the Chicago Blackhawks and Florida Panthers, who both are having phenomenal seasons and in playoff spots right now, which I was not really expecting heading into this year, but they've done really, really well. So, Chicago and Florida go at it in a huge Central Division matchup. And then also that night, back-to-back games between Vegas and St. Louis, and everything about the first matchup still applies. I mean, huge points on the line there between two of the best teams in the West. So, as you can see, there are quite a few awesome games in the NHL this week. I am going to be streaming as much as I can this week, and we're going to get some really good games streamed, including some of those that are on this list. So, with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon, merchandise store, donation link, and now channel memberships link down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.